Hello, hello. So if you guys missed it, we just went live in our Hearts, Minds, and Muscles group. Couple technical difficulties. I wasn't on screen, but you get to hear me. And we had some really good conversation going on about quarantine struggles and some of the things that our clients and people who have DM'd us and left some questions have been finding challenging being in this crazy situation. So go back, watch it, and hopefully you'll take away something from it that could help you moving forward. But I wanted to talk to you guys now about a post that I made. Now I was supposed to talk about it in the group, but we ran out of time. So I figured I'd make a video so I could share this with you. And it was weight loss mistakes that I have made. And I know that so many of you feel like you've been on this journey and you're doing all the things that you should be doing, but the scale isn't budging. You're not losing the fat that you want to, and you're pulling your hair out wondering what the heck you're doing wrong. So I'm going to share with you guys some of the mistakes I made. Maybe you're making them as well, and we could work through them together. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick. And if you have any questions about anything, comment below, DM me. We could have a conversation, a deeper one about anything you may be struggling with. So number one, you are not eating enough. So one thing that was always an issue with me was the fact that I would really restrict my calories when I was dieting, and I'd maybe be able to stick with it Monday to Friday if I got there before I got super duper hungry from all the workouts I was doing, the movement, my occupation. I was constantly on my feet, and so I was burning all these calories, and I just was not taking enough in to support the activity. I was in the severe calorie deficit. And by the time the weekend came around, I was hangry, guys, and I could not sustain that extreme deficit. So I would binge. I'd overeat over the weekend. And, you know, it would start with one night, and then I'd kind of get that fuck it mentality. Well, if I already screwed this up, I might as well go the rest of the weekend. I'll start fresh on Monday. And that was a constant cycle. Or, you know, I'd go out with friends and I'd be like, you know what, I did really well this week. I deserve to be able to go out on a Saturday night. But for me, it wasn't just a drink or two. It was more like a bottle of wine or two, sometimes more, depending on if we were taking shots. So the calories just continued to escalate. And then by the end of the night, what do you do after a night of drinking? Of course, you need to have food to take home. So, I mean, all that hard work I was doing during the week was just sabotaged in the weekend. I was self-sabotaging, ruining all of my efforts, but I was wondering why the scale still wasn't going down because I was putting in so much effort during the week. That was a mistake that I was making. And it wasn't until I realized that I could be in a deficit, but not an extreme one. I could still feel satisfied with what I'm eating, you know, still be losing weight, but at a bit of a slower pace. And long term, that would be sustainable. And I'd still eventually get to my goal. Yeah, it might take a little bit longer, but I was sane. I wasn't sabotaging my work on the weekends. So that's what I mean by my first mistake with not eating enough. Mistake number 2 was relying too much on processed weight loss crap. So I found myself really making protein cookies, protein bars, you know, all the different syrups you can put in, and like weight loss meals, staples of my diet. And I wasn't getting enough volume in the food I was eating. So say, for example, I had a protein bar that was, or a protein cookie, because I know the calories because I love them, which is around 300 calories. So I could eat that cookie and be hungry again in an hour. And that was supposed to be a meal. 300, 350 calories, it's a smaller meal. Now, if I were to choose whole, unprocessed foods like chicken breasts, broccoli and cauliflower, maybe a little brown rice or some sweet potato, I could probably have a full plate, more volume of food. That's the same calories as this cookie. Which one's going to keep me fuller longer and help me to stay on plan with my diet, because I'm not every hour feeling starving because I'm eating food that is basically just all carbs and it's running right through me. So you got to think the whole foods, eating 80% whole unprocessed foods. That's what's going to get you to your goals. That's going to give you the vitamins, the nutrients, the fiber, everything you need, you know, the healthy fats to keep you full, to keep those hormones happy. That's what we're looking to make the staples in our diets, not the processed crap. So that was the second mistake I was making. Number 3, just looking at my handy dandy notes, thinking I need to avoid certain foods because they are bad. Food is food, my friends, and depending on our goals, some food is going to help us get to our goals faster. But at the end of the day, by eliminating food groups and having that mindset of, oh, it's bad, I can't eat it, like, I can't do this. What happened when we were younger and our parents told us we couldn't do something? We immediately wanted to do that thing they told us not to do. So if you tell yourself cookies are bad, a little piece of your brain is going to say, oh, those cookies, they're bad, but they taste so good and I want them. Rather than thinking no food is off limits, but I know my goals. And I know that if I sit there and go full on Cookie Monster on a bag of Oreos, it's not going to help me reach my goals. I'm going to be over in my calories. They're not bad. I know I could add a couple in when I feel that it's worth it. You know, in moderation, I can have a couple and I could still reach my goals. But I get to pick and choose when I'm going to put those in the diet. That's the control we want. We don't want the food to have control over us. We don't want this big list of bad foods to haunt us and think, oh no, I'm never going to reach my goals if I touch it. That's not the case. We just need to know that moderation is key, and that is truth. Consistency as well, okay? You can't just throw in the bad foods anytime you want just because, oh, you know, moderation. No, it's not how it works. But you can have it sometimes. And you get to decide if it's worth it. You know, on birthdays, special occasions, anniversaries, of course, I'm going to indulge and I'm going to enjoy the foods that fuel my soul. But the rest of the time, I'm staying consistent with the whole foods and, you know, the fruits, the veggies, the lean proteins, the healthy fats that I know are going to help me reach my goal. Why? Because I have a goal I want to reach. And if you have a goal you want to reach, consistency is going to be key. Sometimes you have to have that hard talk with yourself in the mirror and really try and come to terms with, is it the diet that's failing you, or is it you that's failing the diet by sabotaging your weight loss over the weekends? Okay? Have that hard talk with yourself. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means you need to get real if you have goals that you want to reach. And we know that consistency is going to get you there. The last weight loss mistake that I want to talk about is something that tends to be overlooked. A lot of times when we're thinking about the things we need to really focus on to lose the weight, it relates to fitness, our workouts, and nutrition. But we forget that there are other components that lead to weight loss, such as sleep and stress levels. And if you're getting an inadequate amount of sleep, if your stress levels are through the roof, you are going to find it more difficult to lose the weight. And some of the reasons why is poor food choices when you haven't had enough sleep or when you're stressed. That's number one. A lot of us find that when we're stressed, we comfort eat. We tend to overeat a bit. You know, it becomes an emotional response to the stress. So by keeping those stress levels down, it's not as much of an issue. And the same thing when we haven't had enough sleep. Our body immediately starts craving the fattier, more greasy type foods, and we're more inclined to make those poor choices. Plus, you have to think when you're not getting much sleep, you're up for a lot longer. So that's a bigger window for you to eat more calories throughout the day, which can become an issue. We become, our willpower goes out the window, and we become a lot more likely to just eat out, buy those convenient foods because we just can't be bothered to make food. We're tired, we're stressed. You know, we just grab for things that are readily available. I can remember a time when I was teaching, I was going to get my master's, I was planning a wedding. I had so much on my plate, and I was staying up sometimes all night just to get all the schoolwork and grading and, you know, planning for different things done that I needed to do. And I mean, everything went out the window when it came to diet and nutrition at that point. Although I was trying to stay on track, I was just too tired and too stressed to actually do the things that I needed to do. So if you guys are finding that sleep is an issue, stress is an issue, that is something that you want to tackle immediately. And I guarantee that it is going to help you in your weight loss journey. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Those are a few of the things that I found to be mistakes that I was making whilst on my weight loss journey. And if it's something that you can relate to and you want a little bit more information about, feel free, reach out, we can have a chat. I hope that this helped you guys, and I'll speak soon. Have a fantastic Friday evening. Bye.